Hi friends. Okay, so today I decided that it was time to cook something in my crock pot. It is finally fall. Not that we need it to be fall to cook in our crock pot, but usually in October I do a lot of crock pot cooking because I love to participate in Crocktober. If you don't know what that is, it is just, I don't know, it's been renamed Crocktober because that's historically when people tend to make their chilies, their stews, their beans, whatever, in our crock pots. We just call it Crocktober. Plus, it's just fun to say Crocktober. But today, I decided to make crock pot steak bites. Now, I've made this before, and this is from one of my favorite bloggers, recipe cooks, recipe art. One of my favorite blogs. I don't actually know what to call it. One of my favorite websites. We'll call it that. One of my favorite websites. It's from Eating on a Dime, and I'll have the recipe linked below. I don't really do anything different from her recipe other than I don't actually measure. I measure from my heart. But for this recipe, you will need an onion. She calls for half an onion. I say, why stop at half? Let's go for a whole. You're going to dice that up. You're going to need 3 pounds of beef. I like to use a shoulder roast. I don't know why, I just do. Oop, my shoulder roast just leaked everywhere. We're going to need minced garlic, salt and pepper, butter, and my favorite, beef broth. Now, I use Better Than Bouillon and make my own beef broth. Well, I don't make my own beef broth, but you know what I mean. I use Better Than Bouillon instead of beef broth out of a carton. You can certainly use it out of a carton if that is what you have. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to chop up my onion. Assuming my dog stops trying to untie my apron behind me. I didn't tell you guys, I have a secret that we've been keeping. It's been a minute since I've been on here. We have a secret that we've been keeping, and I will show you guys at the end of this video what that secret is. But it'll be fun. It'll be a surprise. I don't know, maybe it'll be a surprise. So anyway, let's get going. Yay! So the first thing I like to do, obviously, if I'm using the same cutting board, I'm going to cut my vegetables before I cut my meat because, ew. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I am going to dice up this onion. I try to never cut this part until the very end because, yeah, onions are hot. I don't want to cry. So let's just get this chopped up. I'm going to kind of do this in real time today. Just, I don't know, it's more fun. We haven't chatted in a while, and I thought it'd be fun to chat, catch up on life. It's funny, I actually started my YouTube channel last year in October. In fact, I believe it was October 27th, if I'm right. And I started with doing cooking videos. And I don't know, I enjoy doing the cooking videos because, oh gosh, this does not want to go. Because I love cooking. Now, it's kind of funny. I had not originally intended to do like a decluttering channel, but it just kind of fell into it, and I really have enjoyed doing that. In fact, my house actually still looks pretty decent, even after everything that's gone on. But we're going to get back to doing our cooking. We're going to get back to doing our decluttering. We're going to get back to dicing up this onion and not cutting my finger off. Because, yeah, that's just the way we like to roll around here. We don't like to cut our fingers off. One of these days, I'm going to buy, I've seen them on Amazon, but that thing where you put like the half onion in and then you press it down and it dices your onion. I have terrible knife skills. Like, I scare my mom, and I'm probably scaring half of you too doing this, but I get the job done and it works. I eventually just get frustrated, cut through, and then have to go back through and rough chop. But you know what? Again, gets the job done. If any of you have one of those choppers that I was just talking about, please let me know in the comments below. Because I love reading reviews on Amazon, but I never really know who to take seriously and who not to, because See here, so I just get frustrated and just go, just run my knife through it. And then I don't get fine diced. Now, if you have much better knife skills than I do, your dicing will probably look a lot better than mine. I am not good. I get really just tired. I get tired of cutting after a while. First of all, I get a headache when I cut onions. So, side note, I'm going to have a headache here pretty shortly. My mom, when she comes to visit, actually cuts up a ton of onions for me, and I freeze them. But it has been a minute since she's been down here. We've been going up there to visit her. Just putting my onions in a bowl. We've been going up there to visit her, and so we have not really had a whole lot. Hang on a second. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to dice up my roast. Now, I like to buy roasts, chuck or shoulder, when they're on sale, and then I like to have them to dice up for stew meat or steak bites or whatever I am making at that point. Now you want to make these into, bite-sized pieces. You don't need to cut off any of the fat. You can brown these first. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Today is a don't because I need to get this going. I kind of was not paying attention to the time, and I plan to have this for dinner tonight, so I don't really have time to dice it up. Can you see if the dogs will go outside? Thanks. My sweet kiddo is going to help me try and get the peeps out, or the dogs outside rather. Now once we get this done and diced up, I like this recipe because it's literally just dump and go. You put it in the crock pot, put everything in the crock pot. So unless you specifically want to unless you specifically want to brown your beef, you don't have to. You literally just cut everything up, throw it in the crock pot. The nice thing is if you already have stew meat, roast, I have round, if you already have your beef cut up in your freezer, you can thaw it. I've never done this from frozen, so I don't know how it would work, but you can thaw it and then just throw it in with your seasonings. In this case, it's, pretty easy to just cut this up. So anyway, back to what we were talking about. So, what were we talking about? Oh, yeah, so it's been a while since I've done this, and I've really missed it. As some of you know, we have had some health challenges. But I think we're finally on the other side of that, I think. I actually did a fall haul video kind of thing from Hobby Lobby, and I did not realize how much of the music picked up. And I tried to just do a voiceover when I figured it out, but it didn't work out so well, so it just wasn't working. And then my kiddo got pneumonia, then I got pneumonia. And then my husband started traveling, and I was like, okay, this is just not working. And at first I was like, this is the universe's sign. You know what? I said you don't have to trim this. I'm actually going to trim that part. I was like, this is the universe's sign for me to just not do any more YouTube videos. But the thing is, you guys, I really love doing my YouTube videos. I love talking to you guys. I love hanging out. I'm going to trim that a little bit more. I'm not going to actually get rid of that fat because there are some things that I use beef fat for, so I will throw it in the freezer for when I need it. All right, let me finish cutting this up, and then I will pick back up here in just a second once I finish getting this kind of trimmed up and cut up and ready to go. All right, so now I've got my meat cut up, and I forgot one other thing that I do add. I said I don't deviate from the recipe. I do, in the fact that I do add a bit of Worcestershire sauce in here. So I'm going to grab that. Then I'm going to mix up my beef broth, and then we'll dump everything into the crock pot and get it cooking. This is going to cook on, I'm going to cook it on high for about 4 hours so that it's ready for tonight. Let me move this out of the way, stick my crock pot over here. So it's actually a year ago when I started my channel, as I was saying, and one of the first things I did was Crocktober on my channel. I actually started my Facebook page before I started my channel, so I was doing Crocktober mainly over there. And then I did some here. And I kid you not, like the day after I finished filming my last Crocktober video, my crock pot died. So I had to get a new crock pot, which wasn't, I mean, that's not a bad thing. I use my crock pot a ton. We like onions, so onions there. Raise up that camera a little bit so you guys could see actually what I was putting in here. I got to thinking that camera was probably too low because I had it set for when I was dicing. Just gonna pour this all in here like that. And then this is really where the measuring with your heart comes in. I do half a stick of butter. Dump that in. I forgot to open my garlic. You can certainly use fresh garlic. I use minced garlic. I go for about 2 tablespoons, I think. Again, kind of measuring with my heart. They didn't have my squeezy bottle. I actually prefer the squeeze bottle. Even though this big jar is obviously more cost effective, I prefer the squeeze bottle. Every time I do like pepper like that, where I'm like da 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 da, it reminds me of the chef off of the Muppets, where I'm like da 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 da. The Swedish Chef. I know, that was horrible. I'm probably going to cut that part out. I don't know, I may not. Let me add. Now here's where this is not in the original recipe. I like to use Worcestershire sauce. I like to shake up my Worcestershire sauce first. Okay, now. Gives it a richer flavor. You can also use soy sauce. When I've been out of Worcestershire, I've used soy sauce before, and it is really good. Really, really good. All right, I'm gonna give all of this a stir. Just wanna make sure it all kind of gets mixed in there. Get all that buttery goodness in there. Make sure I put everything in. I did. That's one of the reasons why I lay stuff out, and then I try to all put it on one side, and then as I use it, move it to the other. But sometimes that doesn't happen the way that I think it's going to. All right, I'm going to put the lid on this, and I am going to cook this for about 4 hours off, until it is nice and yummy. And by the way, I'm going to warn you right now, your house is going to smell divine while this is cooking. So let me grab my base over here. And then pop this in. And then I'm going to select high. I love this crock pot. And yeah, 4 hours. That does say 4, right? Okay, yeah. Thought it said 9 for a second. And then voila, dinner will be served in about 4 hours. I'm probably gonna serve this with green beans because we like this with green beans. So this will be served with green beans tonight, and I might make some cornbread to go with it, but probably just do green beans and call it good. But yeah, that's it. So let me show you our surprise. Hey, the noisy one. Hang on. Hey, come here. Come here. So this is our surprise. His name is Harlow. He is 5 months old. We don't actually know what he is. The shelter said he was a Rottweiler. I ain't seeing it. We think he's a German Shepherd mix of some sort, but we are fostering this little cutie, teaching him some house manners. I'm gonna be honest, it's gonna be hard to let this one go. Yes, it is. It's gonna be hard. But he is such a sweet baby. He's very confused as to what's going on right now, because usually if I'm sitting in front of him like this, we're working on training. So part of him is like, hey, where's the treats? And the other part of him is like, I don't know, she's not telling me to do anything. But yep, that is our surprise. And of course we still have our pickle girl, who is asleep on the other side of the island, because she is perfectly fine with me being in the kitchen, but Harlow hasn't quite made it there yet, but we're working on it. So in future videos, you'll see a dog pen, dog kennel kind of thing set up in our living room. That is where, hey, no, leave it. Thank you. That is where he primarily stays when I can't keep an eye on him, or if I'm cooking or something like that. He really wants to chew up my center island, and I'm just not having it. I'm just not doing it. But he does have plenty of chew toys. He just prefers my wood counters and cabinets in my kitchen for some reason. So we're working on that, huh? Yes, we are. We're working on it. So anyway, that is our surprise. It was really good catching up, and I will be back with another video soon. And probably going around looking at what's changed in the house and getting back to our normal routine. Bye, everybody. Appreciate it.